happened to stumble into a world where monsters that looked like they were drawn on cards came to life. There, I met this sinister-looking guy who had a really suspicious laugh. Even though we just met, he said some pretty rude stuff to me when he told me to get out. Then, out of nowhere, a super tough-looking bug just appeared right behind him. It was huge! I've never seen such a crazy bug before. I was really excited about it. I just acted on instinct and put that bug in my Nep note before even realizing it. Then that guy burst into tears, and I felt so bad about it, so I was going to return it to him. But then Krusty warped us through dimensions. And so, I couldn't give him back the bug in the end.
Hey, I only warped us because I was uncomfortable with that awkward expression you were making, you know? Besides, he's the one who picked a fight. Don't worry about it.
But still, it doesn't feel right. So then, when I looked at the bug in my book, for some reason it was a card. I thought it was pretty mysterious, but it takes too many turns to summon, so I'll just use it as a bookmark for the Nep note. By the way, today I actually wanted to ask for your help. Someone I know is consumed by a tremendous sense of revenge. It's hard for me to watch. I've been trying different things to see if I could stop her, but nothing's worked at all. I thought she'd eventually stop if I just kept being upbeat and kind to her, but there's no signs of her changing. To be honest, I'm not sure if I should keep it up. I want you to be honest with me, but is what I'm doing right now wrong? I see. Yeah, like you say, once I've started something, I should believe and keep at it. I knew asking you for help was a good idea. You cleared my worries up in no time. Whoopsies! Looks like I stayed here too long again. I'd better get going. Bye. Let's meet again.
Well, now Big Nep's finished with her Yu-Gi-Oh story, welcome back to part 40 of Neptunia VIIR, where now we've broken into a new dimension, the Heart Dimension. This is where our sister's being held? It's nothing but empty space, almost like the edge of Zero Dimension. What is this place? I'm not interested in a place like this. There aren't even any walls here. Seems like we've been warped to a different area. You better secure a base soon. Yes, we should. Everyone seems a bit tired, so let us rest a while we discuss our next plan. Now then, Neptune, hadn't you forgotten something so very important to us? Something important? Oh, I know, it's time for tea and snacks. You didn't close the gate, did you? A moment ago, I sensed those girls entering through it. Oh shoot, what have I done? I completely forgot. Are you really that careless, or are you simply playing the fool? Well, it doesn't matter. But how will I have you make up for leaving the gate open and inviting all of them into Heart Dimension? Huh? Are you in super ultra angry mode like flames of wrath and everything? It seems like you've forgotten that your worth is merely in that specimen book, or rather tied to Korra trapped inside. R4? Yes, you called? Nearly forgot her voice. Dispose of Nepsi, and make sure you take Korra, understood? Hold your horse birds a sec, what's wrong, Uzume? You look so serious, come on, let me see that pretty smile. Do it. Almost forgot R4's stupid voice that I gave her. It's gonna haunt me if I ever end up recording another Neptunia game ages from now, and I have to suddenly remember that voice. Well, I don't know how I'm gonna still be able to do it in a few years. I'm shocked to see it still exists in a place like this. Why don't we make this spot our base for this dimension? I checked the area and there's some rations and items still left over. Securing supplies is indeed important. What does everyone say to making this our base? I think it's alright. We need a place to rest eventually anyway. This place is so similar to Zero Dimension. I don't really care about details anymore. Let's just rest already. I'm tired from all the running and fighting. I agree with Bisha. I'm super pooped. I'm sleepy. You're right, everyone's tired. Let's rest here for now. I'll go check on the surrounding area for a bit. You don't need to rest? This isn't even a light exercise for me. It's more important I investigate so we can move once the little guys wake up. I'll come with you. We don't know what we could show up out there. What will you do next, Nepgear? I'll come along. I'm really curious about this place. Rom is left, Ram is left, If is left, Comper is left, Escher is left, Bisha is left, Seisha is left, Keisha is left. We're all on our own. So the Ruins of the Heart here is where our base of operations is going to be, and it's also where we're going to somehow have a shop anyway. This looks like a shop, but there's nothing here. There aren't any people here in the first place, so all the facilities must be destroyed. A call from my Endgear. Oh, it might be Histoire. Hello. Oh, I have finally connected. It looks like I can reach you wherever you currently are. Oh, you're right. I have 1 bar. How? Is everything all right? Has there been any trouble? Well, we actually can't use any of the facilities over here. I see. Then, in regards to materials, if you order them online from Amazu, I will send the items from here. I see. Amazu.net is fast and safe after all. What do you mean? I guess I'll order something to try it out. Oh, this thing is a sorority case gun. Wow, you really made it over from our side. By the way, the charge will automatically be withdrawn. Wow, that's high tech. Alright, let's order more stuff. Oh no, you can't. We'll run out of money. Well, for now we can shop at places that have a connection, so we don't have to worry about supplies. Yeah, we're like, how? Look at Heart Dimension. It's just a vortex. How do you get signal? How is it I don't get signal when I'm in town and Nepgear can get signal in the void? Well, anyway, although it's going to be made redundant because Uzume's going to get equipment in the next dungeon, it was bugging me how weak she was for how powerful she can be, so I ended up just buying her a new weapon. So it's going to be made redundant, so if you can wait it out because the next dungeon does add new weaponry for Uzume. Also, oddly enough, they default Uni into the back row for there, so I don't have to just change that around. Everyone on the front row. If you haven't got a full team of 4, you should never have anyone on the back row, in my opinion. And this is around the point where I'm like, well, my inventory is getting a bit big, so I decide to... anything that isn't equipped on anyone and isn't in use, I sell out. And this is me checking that I've got everything sorted the way I want. Because look how many credits we have, we don't need to worry financially about getting the equipment and skills anymore. Like Act 2, I think is like the main chunk of worrying about getting the money for skills and whatnot. Because once you enter Act 3, money starts to become a lot less of an issue. But anyway, Channel Space is yet another blue dimensional box dungeon. This city's in shambles, isn't it? Yeah, but exploring this place was pretty nostalgic, right, Gurzy? Well, it was a lot of trouble searching for the share crystals before and looking for a way back home, but now it's a good memory. Oh, this is... What's wrong, Umio? Find something? My dorsal fin senses something foul. I felt this once before somewhere. Huh? Your dorsal fin is a sensor, Umio? It's hard to believe, but it got that way ever since we beat the giant, actually. Fish have always been pioneers of evolution. It seems my time has come as well. So does that mean you'll sometimes grow arms and legs like a frog? Although that would be rather convenient, as long as I have my pride in being a fish, I would like to stay one if possible. Umio, is there a specific place that this bad feeling is emanating from? Yes, from over there. It's a faint feeling, but it feels stronger than before. Let's go check it out. We might figure something out about this place. So this is the second blue digispace area. I'm just going to call them digispace from now on because I have no idea what you'd even begin to start calling these areas.
Safety released. All right, I'm ready.
Also, I like how all the squids have got the Dreamcast logo on them. So, you know, just to help highlight the whole Uzume side of things. So we've been chasing evil Uzume into this area. This area has to have significance of some kind. I just wonder what. But yeah, this is the third and final dimension that I've been kind of teasing throughout the journey of the game. It's the oddest one in terms of exploration. Like, it's the smallest in terms of how many areas you can go to and explore. It has its own unique battle theme that I really enjoy.
Here I go.
But the dimension as a whole is a bit weird. Like, I don't really know how to put it. You'll get a feel for what I mean as we go through it, but it's a bit of an oddball dungeon. And what doesn't help is that I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit here, but when the way they handle the plot, it feels like there should have been another 1 or 2 dungeons in Act 3 to help space out some of the plot points that were going to get dumped on us throughout the duration of this.
My turn.
Like, I don't think it's yet. Like, I think we still got a little while yet before we have to worry about some of the big plot dumps coming up. But when they do come up, you'll notice what I mean. Like, they do just kind of dump everything on you in one go. I made a big point out of it when I did my review on this game, that when it comes to the plot twists and the plot exposition, they kind of just drop everything on you at once in Act 3. Like, when it eventually comes up, they just kind of go overboard and just throw everything and the kitchen sink with it at you. But let's not worry about that now. We got another, we're in another Digispace dungeon, and although, like I always say, it's the same aesthetic but different layout, the way the layouts are going to change throughout all the Digispace dungeons, because we've got another few of these yet, is that they become more maze-like the further along we go. So the first one was extremely linear. This one has a bunch of dead ends, and then eventually they're going to start introducing teleporting mazes as well. But I don't think that's this dungeon. I think that's either the next one or even the one after, because yeah, we do have quite a fair amount of Digispace dungeons to go through. And I'd like to say that we start getting some decent equipment for Uzume here. Like, I'm sure it's this dungeon we get a new weapon at least. I just can't remember if we get some new armor for her as well. As we go beat up Blastoise over here. Oh, sorry, Big Shell. Big Shell? God, I need to play Metal Gear Solid again. But thankfully, with Uzume having a stronger weapon, she is actually effective in combat again. Because although she was falling behind, let's say you can get her out through it by just waiting, but she was falling behind a little too much for me, and I just wasn't prepared to put up with it. And I made the mistake of just forgetting that you get new stuff for Uzume in this dungeon. Like, if you can kind of figure out when, or like if you're following this, you know through what you see when like the characters are gonna get their better equipment, you can decide for yourself when it's worth buying or worth upgrading, or when it's worth just keeping it. Because I really like the theme that plays when you're fighting in Hard Dimension, but at the same time, it's only really the intro is what I enjoy. Because the actual main theme is almost too synthesized, which I get that's kind of the point of making it feel unnatural, because this whole dimension isn't really natural. But I don't know, like, it ends up almost becoming white noise to me, but the intro I love to death.
We won.
Come on past me. To be fair, I don't do too bad. Like, I don't end up over-leveling throughout the duration of Act 3 like I did with Act 2, like, a little bit. But I still... Like, I look back on the footage and I was like, did I really need to fight everything? Come on past me. And I get special dream combo, which I'm happy I got, because although it was almost definitely going to get it, there's a boss fight much later on where it's almost a necessity to have that, just because otherwise the fight takes an eternity. Yeah, and I get counters on everyone just for the I have, just for the sake of having more options. Oh, I get healing form release as well, which is odd because I've yet to use it in any piece of recording, but I like having it. It's like I said, you give up your form to heal. Like, you give up your HDD form to heal. Which is a great self-healing ability to sometimes pull you out of a jam. However, if you're in a situation that you need to use it to pull you out of a jam, you probably aren't going to appreciate the drop in defense you have to sacrifice to get the heal. Jesus, I know the last time we had access to Uzume was Act 1, but I didn't realise she was that far behind in ability unlocks. Also, and I was paying close attention to see if past me actually even checked. When I was going through the abilities, did you notice how I, without even realising, completely skipped checking Uni? So I think Uni's going to end up with an ability getting left behind for a while as well. So I get them all eventually, like 1 or 2 parts into post-game, I realised go for it all and just unlock everything. I think it might have actually been the very first part in the post-game. Like, as soon as I loaded into it, I was like, hang on a minute.
Found an item.
There it is, Excalibur Heart. Oh no, Excalibur. So not Excalibur, there's no C in there, so it's just, either that's a typo or it's just Excalibur.
This looks freaking cool, right?
But Excalibur Heart is a really good weapon for Uzume. Which is why it kind of defeats the point of buying one. It was a bit of a waste of money to get one, but lesson learned. But Excalibur Heart is amazing. It is definitely a worthy thing to get on Uzume. Also, we get a new suit for Uzume as well, so her defense isn't going to be abysmal. We get the punk suit.
You have nice taste.
Because the evil Uzume we've seen around, one of the costumes and hair pieces you can get actually makes her look like evil Uzume. Like, if you get the costume, it makes her hair the dark blue and wears the black coat with, actually has the undershirt on it, because evil Uzume has an undershirt that normal Uzume doesn't. And then you get a little hairpiece because evil Uzume has a different hairpiece. I think on my main profile I've got her dressed like that because I just think it's a cool design.
1v1, you and me, fool.
Also, I like how all of Uzume's like later special skills, and even at EXE when we start using Special Dream combo, she just goes full on anime with all her attacks, like a million punch rushes and things like that. Like, I don't know how much Fist of the North Star she's been watching, but it feels like she's been watching a bit too much of it. Or maybe some JoJo, but that's a hard maybe because I don't watch JoJo, so I have no idea. Like, I only know if a Joe joke when I'm shown one, kind of thing. Oh, it's annoying because the fact that I know I leave abilities behind because I just forget about them makes it more annoying when I'm crossing the level thresholds of getting said abilities and then not buying them. Like, I know it's just always the risk of recording that you'll forget something, especially in post, because then once you realise you forgot something, you notice it when you're going back through it. But still, I'm just... if Netgear hitting level 52, Uni's not going to be that far behind, and I'm pretty sure her last skill requires level 52.
Let's do this with style. I have you.
Yeah. I like how most of Uni's attacks involve her, like, turning away from the explosion. Like, I understand, like, before Uzume like came in and got really stuck on the idea of being cool, although not said, Uni was kind of in the same boat. At least what I could tell. Like, she was always trying to seem like she was better than she was, always trying to act like she was more of a badass than she actually is. Because she's actually just a little bit of a weirdo who loves guns, and has a lot of anxiety issues, and is just incredibly lovable. That's of the 4 CPU candidates, Uni's always been my favourite since meeting her because I just find her very relatable. She's a complete dork when it suits. She gets very easily fallen under these little delusions of grandeur that she's pretty cool and knows what she's talking about, but in reality is just a bit of a nerd. Is a bit obsessive towards what she loves, like in her picture, guns, me, video games. Also, look at the power difference, but yeah, that weapon, it was like a 4,000 power difference. The upgrades you get in this dungeon are ludicrous. But then of the candidates, I'd say Netgear is a close second, but that's just because Netgear's had a lot of development throughout the series, especially if the original 3 games end up on PS4 or anything like that and give me the ability to play through them, especially the second game. But I'll have to continue this conversation in a minute because we've got a talking cutscene now.
Something nearby. Could this feeling possibly be?
That voice! It's her!
Ow, ow, ow! Jeez, go a little easy on me, Arbor.
Arbor, is it? Usually, I want to kill you after hearing that.
And I'm in such a good mood knowing I won't have to deal with your insolence much longer, Neptune.
If I had my specimen book, I could run away from her.
Too bad. That book belongs to her now. It seems you were worried Krar's power would be handed to her, but how unfortunate. As long as we possess Krar's power, retrieving the console will be simple. It's so sad for you, for your efforts to outwit us to be crushed this way. It's really idiotic and laughable at this point.
So you were on to me.
To get in the way of her objective is punishable by death. Normally, I'd want to torture you eternally, but it is a direct order. This place will be your grave, Neptune. You can watch from hell as the world is swallowed in a maelstrom of delusion! Who's there?
It's been a while, Purple Hag. You really don't get tired of surprise entrances, do you, you bastard?
Neptune, are you alright? Uzume? Nepgear? Why are you here?
Hey, I'm here too.
What was your name again?
Come to think of it, you two have barely met, haven't you?
This is a perfect opportunity. I'll send all of you to hell in one fell swoop.
Try it if you think you can. Let's go, Gearsy. Unicy.
Transformation complete! Ta-da!
Then I too will go full power from the beginning. You must be scared. I will end you along with that fear.
I had heard you talk about it. She really looks like the deity of sin. But I won't lose to someone I've already defeated once.
Even if she's our enemy, I won't let you touch my sister!
Alright, our fourth fight, what is this, like 4 or 5? Maybe 6, I don't know. Either way, we've been fighting her way too much. Like, the fact that she's still not, you know, dead is a bit of a miracle. But now we have Big Nep on our team again. Once again, last seen in Act 1. But also, like with Uzume, although she's got new abilities and back and whatnot, her equipment is still a little on the fallen behind side. So she isn't going to be that helpful in this fight. Which is a shame, because as I made very clear in Act 1, Big Nep is really powerful for being only human.
Let's nip things up.
But you're really not going to be able to get a good chance to notice it, because, oh, by the way, we've got another boss fight that has way too much health. Look at that, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bars, I think that is. Well, plus her 10th that she's starting on.
I'll finish this elegantly.
But I say that going forward, despite the underpowered equipment that Big Nep's using, do you notice how her attack did around about the same damage as Uni did in her transformed state? Because she's just that powerful. I guess in that sense they kind of balanced her. Like this, but you can see I'm trying to barely squeeze everyone in, but I just can't. The strategy of this fight on R4, I don't really know what to tell you. Like, she uses more magic than anything else, but all of her magic has a poison focus on it. So if you are prepared for it, make sure you have some decent equipment on anyone, or some way of nullifying against the poison. Your best bet will be going into disc development and making a poison resistant disc, if you can. Like, there are some disc components you can buy from the shops now, and I'm pretty sure one of the ones you can buy now is a poison resistance, but I don't, because I didn't feel the need to do so. Also, yeah, this is Special Dream combo. Another EXE-esque attack. That last punch that she did doesn't happen if it's on a normal enemy. It's only during boss fights that she does the extra punch.
I'll coordinate my bits for an all-range attack.
And I think this is the fight where I eventually start skipping animations, because look at the video length. The rest of this part is this boss fight and the cutscene afterwards. I know I've said that literally every part since starting Act 3, but I can't stress enough how big of a criticism this is in the third act, that the boss fights are as insanely long as they are. And I know I'm just repeating myself at this point, but it's always worth bringing up. There's no need for it. And that is something I'm going to make a point of all the time, in some vain hope that the criticism is heard loud enough that when the 5th game does roll around, they make the bosses have fair amount of health. Like, I don't mind the odd boss, or like having a final boss have loads of health, kind of thing. Or making it so you have to find a way outside the box to try and get their health to go down quicker, sort of thing. But just having every single boss after a set point take half a lifetime to kill, it gets boring, it gets stale. Because once you know what to do with the boss, you're just burning through, waiting until it dies. It's the same issue Persona 2 always had. Some of the bosses in Persona 2 take so stupendously long, and it's long after you've already got a strategy down for it, kind of thing, and you're still just there like, oh, for goodness sake, just die already. Worth mentioning that that R4 is weak to light still, or holy, or whatever you want to call it. And so things like Dulce Vida are going to be very helpful.
I'm going full throttle.
Well, I mean, I think your only light attack you can have available to you is Dulce Vida, because I don't think it's possible for anyone else to have access to them in the team that you've got. When you keep in mind we left everyone behind, it's only the 4 you see here that we brought along. I'm pretty sure Uni's the only one with light at her disposal. There's a motorbike passes us by, thanks. And you can tell at this point I'm still trying to do the whole don't over repeat attacks, otherwise it would get really stale to watch. But eventually one of these boss fights I do just turn around and just decide to myself, you know what, no, it's more stale to drag a fight out for 20 minutes just to show different attack variations than it is to actually just show the same attack variation but get it done in about half the time. Thankfully, Uni's HDD form is naturally immune to poison, and R4 very fortunately decides to prioritise a lot of her attacking towards Uni because of the light. If you can use light attacks on that, because you're hitting her weak spot, it builds up the anger, because R4 can't become fearful of an enemy, she can only become angry towards. So although she will be targeting only Uni and doing more damage, you won't have to worry about poison. As long as you can keep it up, because you have to be wary that, because, you know, she will be hit with more damage because of the anger state doing that. And yeah, do a normal attack with Big Nep and it was useless. You really can only use specials with Big Nep to have her really contribute. And if it's healing or using support attacks on your teammates will also boost the anger meter, but just nowhere near as much.
I'll turn you into a honey.
Bad.
Ta-da! Uzumi's turn.
Do I keep the whole animation in? Do I even go for it? Do I turn away? Oh no, I go for Dream Combo instead. Okay, so I was wanting to see if I was going to go for it then. God. Oh, and it missed! It missed and she still went flying anyway. How does that work, video game? I think it would help if I actually checked the stats so I could quickly glance through it, but I think R4's magic defense is higher than her physical defense, so using bits combination probably isn't my best decision here.
I'll show you a miracle. Yeah!
Thankfully the last 2 hits do a good amount of damage, because the rest of that wasn't very helpful.
No way.
As we're approaching around about the halfway mark on R4 here.
I shall go forth. Just kidding. Maybe I should put you in my
Probably the best thing about having Big Nep in your party is that you have no excuse to not get heat up and cooldown, which are great buffs and debuffs that you can keep up on R4 if you feel like Big Nep isn't doing much else because of her nerfed equipment. Well, her weaker than everyone else's equipment.
Uzumi's turn.
And you can see what I mean when you look at Uni's health. You do need to keep an eye on people's health if she starts getting enraged. But because Uzume has been actively healing, now she's got some anger points towards her. Not enough to set it off. So what I should really be doing is going back to Dulce Vida before R4 starts targeting someone else. But for some reason I decided to go for Brave Cannon instead. I'm waiting to see how much damage this does, just so I can see which one. I don't know. Looking at that, I want to say they may be close to the same.
I was waiting for this moment.
Like, as in her defenses. I realised I kind of left that one a bit vague.
Not bad.
Yeah, I'd say they're around the same, so go for it in the end, actually. I mean, now we're halfway.
You're not bad. Then let me show you my true strength. You'll be regretting this in hell.
After that point, after that line, it's the game's way of saying that she will now... She might not use it immediately, but she now has access to an EXE. Because, you know, just like with what SteamX and Aphimojus did, you can have EXEs come back your way. It's not just you guys that get to have these super special attacks that have really extended out animations. And you're noticing that I'm kind of running out of things to do with Big Net. Like, there's really not much I can do with Big Net right now. But because I haven't managed to get the anger back on Uni, it's resulted in now in Nepgear getting poisoned. But this is just my way of saying, the anger system, although it can be worrying and it can be alarming of how much they can start to stack up on you, it can also be used for a tool in your effect. Like I said, with Uni, she is naturally resistant and immune to poisoning. So use that to your advantage and have the boss only target its poison-based attacks towards Uni by having it anger towards her. Because the whole time she's targeting other people, she's poisoning people, and poison builds up. It's not like some games where it's a bit more of just a subtle nuisance. Poison starts to stack on you if you leave it unmonitored.
I won't hold back.
I was trying. Is this why I start skipping animations? Since we still got another, like, what, 10 minutes of this boss fight yet.
I'll be keeping a close eye on you.
But yeah, I can guess, like, whilst we're waiting for this boss fight, I can go back to the conversation I was on about before the cutscenes about the order of the CPU candidates I like, with Uni being my favourite, Nepgear close second because of her development, but then of the twins, I prefer Rom over Ram. I think Rom's just so sweet and innocent and adorable that I just prefer her. Was Ram, she's got better over the series, but if I ever cover the originals, in her introduction, like back in Mark II, she actively annoyed me. Almost all of her lines were either challenging people to a fight, blaming people for everything, or looking for excuses not to trust people. And, like, I get it, but at the same time it was really annoying. And also we got a counter off finally! I completely forgot it was this fight that I managed to finally get a counter off, that she targeted. She decided just at random to target Nepgear when I'd set up a counter state, so it worked. Because there's 4 different kinds of counter states. You have self-physical, self-magic, skill-physical, and skill-magic. If it's self-based, it's when they attack you with a physical attack and you have physical counter, or when they attack you with magic. But if it's skill-based, it's when they use a physical skill full stop, they will interrupt with a counter, and when they use a magic skill full stop, they will interrupt with a counter. But you usually have to be very precise with, like, what elements and whatnot, things like that. It's usually not worth it. It's better to just leave it on self.
It's not over yet. I'm going full throttle.
And then there's some characters that have a lot more counters at their disposal than others, like Blanc, for instance. Blanc is entirely built for her defensive and countering abilities, with how powerful her attacks are, so use them. I know I don't really take my own advice throughout a lot of this game, but they are there to be used. But the thing is, if I ever go back and cover the original games, like assuming they ever get re-released on PS4, I'm gonna miss some of the characters that were only introduced in the later ones. Like Big Nep's debut and Uzume's debut was this game. But Big Nep was teased at the end of the 3rd game, because the 3rd game's ending is Kroar getting captured by an unknown person that Kroar seemed to recognise for a split second. Without obviously being, she recognised normal Neptune, and so when she saw this other dimension Neptune, she didn't connect the dots straight away that this was a different Neptune, because it was years ago in the events of the 3rd game. So Big Nep probably still looked a lot like how our Neptune looks. Just obviously not a goddess. But it's the same like the 3rd game. Like, it bugs me that they couldn't find any way to bring her back in this game, and you might already be ahead of me because I keep on mentioning it, but Plutia is such an amazing character in the third game that it's such a shame that they didn't find a way to bring her back for this. Like, the only time off the top of my head they've brought her back is the spin-offs and the anime. The anime, when I can speak normal English. Also, now you're approaching the end of R4's health bar, her attacks are also going to start having virus put on them as well. And you might already notice that Uni and Netgear have both already been inflicted by it, so they're not in their goddess state. But because of the damage, the sheer damage that Dulce Vida does, I wanted to get Uni back in her transformed state, so I go out of my way to try and heal it. But while I'm at it, fix up Netgear so she can go HDD as well. I'm surprised I keep this animation in, to be honest. Well, I like all the transformation animations, but this fight's gone on long enough. And I'm still just sitting here like, oh yeah, let me just watch this 20-second animation of them transforming into their goddess forms.
Let's nip things up. Maybe I should put you in my specimen book. Just kidding. Power up with my new.
I'm surprised I tried to power up Netgear and not Uni. Like, I know it's entirely down to how I played versus how I'm looking back on it now. Like, you spot how things could have been a lot more manageable and easier. Your best bet is Holy, or Light, or whatever the element's called. So you should absolutely be throwing Uni at everything there and trying to help her out as much as possible. But I guess I just wanted to try and keep it diverse as possible, even if it did drag out the fight by another few minutes. But she's going down to her last health bar after this attack. So next proper strike should easily do it. If I can get a full-on Dulce Vida in, it should easily take her out.
Not bad. Will I be defeated?
No!
Consume all!
I'll show you my heart and soul.
Like, this should, in theory, kill. Well, either or not, it'll be very close. But we've got anger back on Uni, so even if it doesn't kill, it's not the big deal.
It's not over yet.
It's gonna be. If it doesn't, it's gonna be very close. Ah! Come on! Look at that. That's That's annoying. Alright, we'll just scream at her. Use a bit of good old dream roll. Haven't seen that since Act 1, really. Boom! I'm pretty sure that's the last time we fight R4, thankfully. But we do have more cutscenes now.
My body, it's breaking. Why can't I win against the CPUs?
From what I had heard from Nepsi, the existence known as R4 may very well be fated to lose to the CPUs. How tragic. When you reach the afterlife, please do let me know how it goes.
All your fish puns are cracking me up, Umio.
No, I don't want to disappear. Save me.
This is finally the end. R4.
Nepsi!
Don't worry. It seems she's fainted from fatigue. I don't know what happened, but she was probably tired from being chased around. The success from our simple reconnaissance has been gratifying now that R4 is defeated. Let's carry Big Nepsi back to our base.
Well, at least R4's finally, we hope, out of the picture for this game only, probably. And that is what occurred. So your reconnaissance not only ended being R4, but commandeering Big Nep too? That's pretty surprising. Commandeering? She isn't a robot. I patched up what wounds I could, but she won't wake up at all, I'm worried. Then let her drink this. What is that liquid? It's ominously cloudy. It's a special mixture I created by slow cooking commercial energy drinks, energy foods, turtle extract and other things into a large pot. Will you try it? No, I'll pass! Open her mouth. There. Blah! Ah! What is that super gross drink? Blah. Wow, his surprise is super effective. It was also a critical hit to Miss Neptune. Kids at home, even if you make it, you absolutely shouldn't drink it. We aren't liable for anything. Ugh, it's been the worst aftertaste. Huh? What? Is this torture? Am I going to be tied up and have my clothes ripped off and have things done to me that we can't show in a family game? It seems the drink has inflicted no serious damage. Now, Nepsy, could you please tell us your story? Alrighty, the others figured me out already, so there's no point in hiding it anymore. It all started when Krusty and I ended up in Heart Dimension when trying to travel to Hyper Dimension. But now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure Krusty tricked me. Hey Krusty, is there really a fabulous treasure in this strange place? Yeah, there's no mistaking it. My sensor's going off the charts. Can't explain it, but there's a ton of share energy here. I have to use all the energy in the area to bust out of this damn specimen book. Oh, how rare to have a guest here. I may be surprisingly lucky today. Sorry for asking as soon as we've met, because you listened to a request of mine. Sure, say your wish, but just know we'll get an equivalent reward in exchange. I liked to go to Hyper Dimension, obtain a certain game console. Game console? You bored? Yes, actually. I'm bored to death. I'd really like to get my hands on this console. However, it's a valuable object. Only one in the entire world exists. Ooh, I've got a premonition of something super rare. That sounds awesome. Hey, if I try and go get it too? Yes, of course. Games are much more fun if one doesn't play them alone. Woohoo! So where is this console? There's a nation called Planetoon in Hyper Dimension, and it's enshrined deep underground below the nation's basilicom. Ooh, that really sounds like some sort of legendary console. My gamer soul is burning even more now. But that underground altar has been lost from records. There have been no entrance. Will you do this to me even then? If you leave things to Dimension Hopper Neptune, I can make the impossible possible. Let's get to it, Krusty. Right, the basement of Planetoon's basilicom in Hyper Dimension. The coordinates are there. That should do it. We'll be going now. Shouldn't be long. Warp! And here we are. So this is Planetoon's underground altar. Wow, it's gloomy as shit in here. Hey, Neptune, isn't that in the pedestal over there? A white body of a swirl marker? I've never seen a console like this before. Wonder what kind of games you can play. If this is it, let's head back, Krusty. Warp. Silence? Huh? Nothing's happening. Hey, Krusty. My bad. I'm out of energy. It looks like we can't warp or go to the other dimensions. What? Jeez, you're always so useless when we're in the middle of really important stuff. What kind of piece of junk are you? It was a piece of junk, you idiot. It's your own damn fault for always keeping me in this weird-ass book. I don't get how the hell it works, but it's constantly sucking away my powers. You want to complain? Let me out first. No can do. Nothing good ever happens when I let you out. For now, I'll get out here on my own, and then you can eat and get some strength back. And that explains why the console ended up on this. Yeah, I was saying that's how the console ended up on the street here. Oh, we're out of the basement still, even for a game console again. It's a pretty old model. Finally out of the sun, so I can just take a peek inside, right? It's a hardware enthusiast. I'm curious to know what CPU it's using. Huh? What's wrong? Hey, Krusty, there's someone inside this console. Someone inside? There's no way in hell you can put somebody inside a game console. I'm telling the truth. Look, see, listen closely. Click. And yes, and that's how the console ended up on the street for our Neptune to stumble upon right at the very start of the game. What? A whirlpool? Where something's happening? Is there someone? Help! I'm getting sucked in! And that explains how she ended up in Zero Dimension and stumbling into our band of misfits later on. And so we got sucked in a few days after we ended up in Zero Dimension. And I met Nepgear and the others. I see. I apologise, Nepsy. It seems I was short an explanation. What we wish to know is why you were with Arthur and the others as our enemy. And who is the girl who looks like Uzume? I learned this after I left Uzume's group, but the girl's name is also Uzume. I have no idea what her identity is, only it seems like Krusty has a hunch. But I can answer this. Krusty and the other Uzume, it's kind of a pain to say, isn't it? For now, since she's the exact opposite of Uzume and wears a lot of black, I'm going to call her Kuromi Anukoboshi. and Kokoboshi, yeah. Kurome and Okukoboshi. The naming sense is ridiculous. It's kinda just like our Nep. Names and natures do often agree. You may not be far off. She didn't tell me her objectives specifically, but Kurome's gotta be planning to do something super awful when she gets that console. So in order to prevent that from happening, I sealed Krusty in my specimen book so she couldn't lend a sneaky hand. I infiltrated Affimax pretending to be an ally and interfered in the background, you know, like a good spy character. But in actuality, they found out pretty easily and Krusty got out of her seal and awful nearly got rid of me. Is it possible that the reason one Ranpig was missing in Leanbox or that the gate was left open was you, Neptune? Exactly correct, as expected of Neptune. You're a smarty, little me. I see. So that was thanks to you. Yeah, I wonder how Escher feels about that her plan was ruined by the person right in front of her. Well, so the name of this place is Heart Dimension. I heard it from Kurome that some person's soul became this dimension. Oh, but I do know where the small me and everyone else is being held. Really? Then please take us to where they are. There are no lies to that story, correct? Escher, are you being suspicious for Nep for some reason? You can rest easy. Nepnev's have always been a person who can't tell a lie. You're right, she acts awkward, but she always tips her hand. Her personality's just not cut out for lying. You girls talk about her like you know her, but you really don't know this, Neptune. That's true, but it's a gut feeling. Even from where it's from or how she looks different, it's still Nep. You really feel that way, Iffy? Me too. Is it because you're all childhood friends? Something like that. So you can please trust in our intuition on this and put your faith in this Neptune here. Very well. Thank you, Escher. Alright then, Big Nepsy. Sorry for asking so soon, but show us the way, please. Okay, leave it to me. Next time on Neptunia VIIR, we're going to start venturing out to try and save these CPUs that have been missing since the start of this act. But until then, you guys take care now.